Well, I want to draw the lines first. That's what I'm saying right now. So I want you to get your curve ruler, and I want you, see how it went from a straight hem to a curve?
I'm meaning just this part.
No, don't cut it yet.
Okay.
I want you to do the lines here first.
Okay.
So I want you to get your curve ruler, and I want you to blend it in a way that makes it look pretty, okay? Sometimes you have to take off a little, like if you look here, do you see how I had to adjust that a little bit? Because I don't want it going down and then, like sharp, points. I want it curved.
Rounded, right?
Right, so I'm going to take my curve, and I'm going to place it on here. Sometimes you have to come up a little bit in order to get a nice curve. See the red line? That's my curve, okay? So I want to fix all those curves, okay? Don't be extreme, but we want them to be pleasant. We don't want any, corners. We want it like a nice, smooth road that we're driving down, okay? Right, then you can cut it out, okay?
Okay.
And so the reason I have to have you mark it first is because we need to get that bottom edge so we can discard this, but we don't want to cut it out until we know what the shape is. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and cut that off, okay? And we're going to now balance the flare. The book has instructions how to do it. I don't like them, so I want you to do it the way I'm telling you to do it. I drew it on the board, so you can refer to that, okay? And so now and I wrote the instructions, so make sure you kind of create a diagram for yourself. I don't think the way the book does it is right. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put them together as if they were being sewn. So we're going to take our side seams and put them together, okay? So we put them together like this, okay? And when I do that, notice when I put them together, they should be about the same length, but look what happens in the center here. Do you see how this isn't parallel? That means that the piece on top is larger in flare than the one underneath. And my one that I have underneath is center front. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the side waist together, and I'm going to move that top one out until it's parallel. Do you see this? So I want to measure that and just make sure it's parallel. I know there's a little ruler there. Okay? Right. Keep the side waist together, pivot the hem out, and make sure this is parallel, okay? So whatever that amount is, make sure that it's the same all the way down, okay? And it, just adjust it. Now see how it's just a little bit different? You have a choice of taking away or adding. So that would be your choice. We're gonna add more flare later on. So in my opinion, why not just take that off, okay? So I'll get my ruler and I'm gonna just trace off what's underneath. I will have to adjust the length just a hair because of that pivoting. See how now it's not the same length exactly? But I'll get my ruler and draw what I can in the straight area. So I can see that it's there and there. And so I'll take that and draw that so it matches the skirt underneath. I mean, your choice is to add or subtract. If you want to add, you can, but I don't think it's necessary. Or the other thing you could do is you can mark a point somewhere in the middle, so you add to one and take away from the other. But since we're going to add more flare later, I think I'm just going to take it away and keep it simple. Okay. The other thing I can do is I can take this and just pivot it out to get that side shape that I need. See from the side waist, I can pivot that out. And that'll help me just trace that off the way I need to. Okay, and then that should match. Looks good. See, now it matches the skirt underneath. You see that? Mm-hmm. And I can just cut that. Okay, so I've balanced the flare, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that. What's that? I trimmed a little off the back. Okay, because the back was wider. Part of the reason the back was wider is because those darts are bigger and longer.
Oh, because they're on the top. It's bigger than.
They're 1 inch
wider.
each compared to the front, which are only 5/8 each. Okay, so that's what made that change. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm ready to now start my tracing. And since I have to leave early and I'm not sure what time I'm going to get back, I need to tell you what to do. So now they're balanced. Okay, so it's not hard. It's just making sure that it will hang nicely at the side seam. The book says to put center front and center back waist together. I don't think that's right, because if you remember when we drafted it, they're drafted differently, aren't they? The level of where the waist is. And so that's why I do it this way, putting the side seams together and keeping these parallel. Okay? To me, that makes more sense than putting them together at center front or center back. Now, this one's not as profound, but it is different a little bit. Okay? I'll adjust my side seam here a little bit so that, you know, they blend nicely. Okay, now I'm done with the map. And so from here, I'm going to go on and do my different tiers and my underskirt. So I'm going to trim a little there. I'll trim a little at the bottom here also to adjust the length. I want them the same, so I'm going to get my ruler and adjust that. Okay, again, it's truing it, but we want to do it on the map because think of it this way, we're going to make a lot of pieces from this. Do we want to have to true them all over and over again? I don't think so. Why not do it here and keep it easy? Okay, so I'll true it. Keeping that at 90 degrees. Go ahead and take that off. Okay, take it off on the waist where I marked it as well. Blend it in here. Okay, let's double check it one last time. Make sure they're the same length. Keep that side waist together. Walk it a little there. Okay, they look good now. Okay, so they're pretty good. All right, so now we're ready to take our map and start tracing off. Okay, so that this does not get cut. This stays here. So what you're going to do now is you're going to trace off the, let's start with the underskirt. Okay, so we know the underskirt goes to the green. So you're going to, you can trace off this all the way up to where the bottom of the underskirt is. And so you're going to trace it off to here, and then trace this line off. You do not need these other lines, only the ones for the underskirt. So we'll trace this one. How about if I number it? We'll trace it off to number 1, and we'll trace it off to number 3. Okay?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1 and 3. So trace that off, and then that gets traced. That's the bottom of it, and then we cut it apart. When you cut it apart, make sure that you put CF. CF, CF, so you know what piece you're dealing with. I guess I don't need one there.
Are we doing this on another paper?
Right, so you're tracing this off all the way to the bottom of the underskirt, okay? And you're going to get these 2 pieces. You're going to do the same thing for the back, getting these 2 pieces, okay? We're also going to trace off all the tiers,
Yeah.
but they cannot be done on just one piece of paper. It's because of the overlap, right? So you're going to trace off the upper tier to here, then put another piece of paper under, and trace off from here to the mid tier. Put another piece of paper off, and trace from here to the bottom tier. Right? So that's going to be a
So
little more
it's-
complicated.
Ends up being 4.
You're going to have a lot of pieces.
4
You're going to have
separate
you're going to have
pieces.
2 underskirt pieces, and then 3 tier pieces, so 5 altogether.
Okay.
Okay, so what I want you to do right now is I want you to balance your skirt. Finish the flare, balance it. You guys all understand the balancing? I drew it on the board too, so I think it's pretty clear. And if not, talk to each other and, you know, work it out. Okay, after you've trued the side seams, then I want you to just do the underskirt, okay? Trace off all the way. When I come back after lunch, we'll do tiers.
Are you
Okay.
joining us?
I have to go to a meeting and I'm going to be leaving in just about 10 minutes. And so I'm sorry, something I can't get out of. So
Are you gonna be here for the Cinco de Mayo thing?
I don't know. The meeting's at 12. It's something that I have to go to. I can't get out of it.
Is Sunny gonna be there too?
No, Sunny's going to be here for the party.
Okay.